just what is going on with Star Citizen right now. It seems that the game is more popular than ever, and we only have to take a look at Google Trends to see just how that's working out. In fact, the past few days have been seeing more interest on Google than the entirety of the CitizenCon event, which itself was very, very popular. So it's an interesting point to consider. This video is going to be a bit of a random one there, hence the title, Random Thoughts, and well, we're just going to have a look at exactly what's going on. So, as many of you will know, a few weeks ago, last month in fact, we had CitizenCon, where CIG gave some very impressive demonstrations of upcoming Star Citizen updates, as well as a nice demo for what we can expect to see in Squadron 42. And yes, that game, according to CIG, is now feature complete. But all of that was a month ago, and since then, none of that content, at least none of the major features, have yet been added directly into Star Citizen. So just why is the game super popular at the moment? You don't have to look at Twitch right here. I've been live streaming myself lately and browsing through the various different categories, and you can see that there is consistently, pretty much always, multiple thousands of people watching these streams. 4,000 right now in fact. But in the past few days I've seen it well over 6,000, so yeah, pretty good going. Whichever way you cut it then, Star Citizen must have something going for it. After all, why all this interest? Well, if you want to answer that question for yourself, rather than just rely on a video or a live stream or whatever, you can now dive into the game and try it out for free over the next few days, right up to the 30th of November in fact. And this is all thanks to the game's current event, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2953. This is an annual event. We're right in the midst of the current one, and it's also coupled together with a free fly event, meaning that players can jump in without having to even spend a penny. So what is the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo all about, otherwise known as the IAE? Well, it's a 14-day event, a 14-day ship exposition event more specifically, held at the Tobin Expo Center inside the game at the location known as New Babbage. So the event is annual as said, and what it does is showcase the various different ships from the various manufacturers inside the Star Citizen universe. And the way that works is each day one or more ships and manufacturers are featured for 48 hours, with a switch occurring daily to those servers. So basically there's two different sets of ships or two different manufacturers are on show at any one time. Players can then jump in and rent these inside the game for absolutely free. Meaning, well, that gives the name of the Free Fly Weekend, I guess. Not only is the game free to play, but you also can pick up any of these ships to try them out. Of course, the cynic in me fully realises that this is just a sales and marketing ploy and that CIG are making a whole ton of money from this. In fact, their funding tracker usually bumps up considerably during these events. But at the same time, it's a wonderful opportunity for players to jump in and see what all the fuss is actually about. Is Star Citizen worth their time or not? You can actually jump in here and find that out for yourself without any real negative consequence aside from using up a bit of your time. So yeah, over the years you've heard a lot of stories, I've discussed many of them myself, that Star Citizen is a wonderful game, that it's the future of space gaming. Likewise, there's multiple other stories that the game is a scam, that it's full of bugs and simply doesn't work. The Free Fly event then is a wonderful way for you to find this out for yourself. Just jump in and take a look. So what do I think about all of this? What do I think about Star Citizen? Well, my answer on this one isn't entirely straightforward, and that's because, well, it ties deeply into the subject of space games themselves. And for me, and I guess many other people out there, the perfect space game really is the dream game. It'd be a game not too unlike what we can see with the likes of GTA and Red Dead Redemption, but set in space with a multitude of planets and, well, some really fantastic looking ships. And when I use GTA as an example, I'm not talking about the combat in it or anything like that, or the nature of the stories. What I'm talking about is that really believable, highly reactive world, a highly detailed world. And this is just something that no space game delivers on. A few years ago, or a decade I guess ago, when the Elite Dangerous was announced and Star Citizen, and a little bit later No Man's Sky, the trend in space games was to go broad and go wide, for the games to try and focus on as many different aspects as possible. And that obviously isn't an easy goal. In fact, I'd argue that only Star Citizen so far is actually even trying to aim for that goal, and it's still a long way from actually achieving it. To some extent, maybe No Man's Sky, and to some extent, maybe Elite Dangerous have each walked a certain way down that path, but each of them have a fairly narrow focus. They're good at what they do, but they just don't have that innate, that very deep complexity in terms of the game world that they represent, that they've created. So yeah, this question of the nature of the game world, how complex it is, really is central to me on the question of Star Citizen. And that's largely because Star Citizen is at least attempting to answer the question of what it means to be the perfect space game. But Star Citizen comes with its own baggage, doesn't it? Whilst I'm no fan of some of the marketing practices that CIG use, and whilst I do believe that the game has perhaps been in development for a bit too long at this point, I do feel that CIG have created a wonderful universe here. It's got definitely, without a doubt, the best planetary tech in any space game out there. It's also easily got the best spaceships in any game out there by a huge margin. Where it falls down, in my personal opinion, is with the gameplay. Although that really depends upon how you approach it. I know a lot of people jump in and they like the multiplayer activity, they play together with friends. Sometimes I guess pick up groups, but mostly friends, and they have a heck of a lot of fun together. For me, I'm always been a solo player. I like to play games on my own, and I tend to find that when it comes to specific types of gameplay, Star Citizen's a little bit bare and a little bit repetitive. But that said, the fact I still like jumping into Star Citizen and exploring the universe really does demonstrate just how good and how appealing the game world itself actually is. Either way, it's probably best not to just take my opinion for this one way or another. Why not check it out for yourself? All you have to do is head to the Roberts Space Industries website and you can download the client and log into the game. Just give it a try. I'll keep a link in the video description. So yeah, just a few random thoughts on what's going on right now with Star Citizen, as well as why it seems to be so popular right now, with a lot of people talking about it and a lot of attention on it. I'm sure people are going to have some pretty controversial opinions about this one way or the other, but yeah, why not let me know in the comments section? I'd love to hear from you. And meanwhile, do check out these other videos. I'll catch you soon.